Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are off to a fantastic start. Got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day and a new week comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 4 NBA player props to go ahead and share with you guys in tonight's NBA slate. Only 2 games on tonight. I have 2 player props from each of the 2 games going on for tonight's NBA slate. Had a little bit of an up and down week last week. We're hoping to be a little more consistent. We had like one good day, a bad day, a good day, a bad day. Let's get a little more consistency this week. Let's get some more wins and maybe limit the losses. We had some really nice performances and some really bad performances. So really up and down week last week. Let's do better this week, guys. I got 4 really solid player props coming your way right now. We are wasting no time at all, jumping right into the outlier screen. Our first player prop in today's slate comes from the Cavs-Miami Heat game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. Again, I have 2 player props coming from this game. Our first player prop is Ty Jerome of the Cleveland Cavaliers over 19.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, minus 135 odds. Actually, no, minus 120. BetMGM, we can get it. It's available on multiple sportsbooks for varying odds. As always, guys, make sure to shop around for the best sportsbook odds available. A lot of the times, that makes a big difference when it comes to your profit if the bets hit. Minus 135 versus minus 120. It may not sound like a lot, but if you're betting higher units or over time, it's going to make the difference. So minus 120 on BetMGM was available to me. That's what I'm going to go ahead and ride with this one. And the data is pretty solid from a recent standpoint. Now, the overall data, a little dicey. But 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. That's, of course, an 80% hit rate, averaging 24.4 PRAs per game. That is, of course, points, rebounds, assists per game over his last 10 games. So on a really solid run here. Now, like I mentioned, if you do go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view, not as impressive. A 44% hit rate, 32 out of 73 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 18.63 points plus rebounds plus assists per game overall this year. So again, the overall numbers not too great, but the recent data really solid. And of course, narrowing it down to the head-to-head data here, 4 of his last 6 matchups with the Miami Heat, he's cashed the over. That is a 67% hit rate, averaging 24 PRAs per game over his last 6 matchups with the Miami Heat. But more importantly for us here, we have 3 games already played in this playoff series. Cleveland right now up 3-0 on Miami, going for the kill shot tonight in Game 4. I think they're probably going to get it. This Miami team has not shown too much fight in this series. So far, in 3 games in this playoff series, Ty Jerome has cashed the over in 2 of 3 games with some really massive performances. Obviously, we know Game 1, if you guys remember, had a really solid performance with 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. He followed that up with a stinker in Game 2, 6 points, 3 rebounds, and no assists. But then in Game 3, had another solid performance there with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 11 assists. Again, the line is 19.5. It's a little elevated, I think, from what his normal line would be. But because of his recent run and his recent performances, that's why I think the line has been elevated. And mind you, all 6 of these matchups with Miami you see here in the head-to-head data all come from this year. So all very recent. It's all very applicable here to the matchup. I also think there's a good chance it's a blowout. I mean, 2 of these 3 games have been massive blowouts. The only game that was kind of close was Game 2, and Cleveland still won by 9. But look at the minutes played. He played 26 minutes in Game 1, 23 minutes in Game 2, and about 22 minutes in Game 3. Not playing a ton of minutes, but to be fair, the line is only 19.5 points, rebounds, assists. He doesn't necessarily need to play 30 minutes to go ahead and cash the over. And the big thing with what happened in Game 2, he just did not shoot the ball well at all. 2 for 8 from the floor. It's fewer shots that he had taken compared to Games 1 and Games 3, but it's also fewer shots made, only 2 shots made in that game. And again, didn't have any assists. He did have 4 potential assists, but finished with 0. Rebound chances were limited. But I do like the spot here. Again, if this game gets out of hand, I think Ty Jerome, you could see Cleveland delegate. And also, we don't know what's going on with Darius Garland. He's a game-time decision. If he's out, I expect Ty Jerome to get some more work in, to get some more opportunities, some more minutes. So that part of it also has to be considered. But overall, even if Garland does play, I still like the spot here for Ty Jerome as the first player prop in today's slate. And for our second player prop in today's slate, again, sticking with this Cavs Heat Game 4, we're actually sticking with the Cleveland side of things as well. We're going Evan Mobley under 26.5 points plus rebounds minus 110 odds over on DraftKings. Again, available on multiple sports books for varying odds. Similar to the last player prop, the recent data is strong, the head-to-head data is strong, the overall data, not so much. So 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under here, averaging 24.9 points plus rebounds per game over his last 10 games. Now, even when he does cash the under, it's a bit of a sweat. You see a lot of close, narrow cashes on the under here over the last 10 games. Now, like I mentioned, when you go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view, a 46% hit rate on the under, 34 out of 74 games. He's cashed the under, averaging 27.59 points plus rebounds per game this year. Evan Mobley, really phenomenal season with the Cavaliers, did not cash this under all that much. I mean, 46% is not terrible, but it's certainly not good. But from a head-to-head perspective, again, we're back on the green there. 6 of his last 8 matchups with the Miami Heat, he's cashed the under as a 75% hit rate, averaging just 22.75 points plus rebounds per game against Miami. Now, they have played 6 times this year, like the Ty Jerome prop showed us. 6 times this year, he's cashed the under in 4 of 6 games. But more importantly, he's cashed the under at a 100% hit rate so far in this series. All 3 playoff games here against Miami, he's cashed the under. Now, again, like we talked about, a couple of those very narrow cashes. Game 2, he just missed it by 1. Game 3, he just missed it by 2. It's always risky to bet the star players, and I do consider Evan Mobley to be a star. It's risky to bet their unders, especially in a playoff game when you know they're going to get a lot of minutes, they're going to get a lot of opportunities, they're playing harder than they normally would. However, it's not the best defensive matchup for him. Obviously, Bam Adebayo, a former defensive player of the year, for multiple all-defensive teams. Bam Adebayo, really solid defensive player. I said defensive player of the year. He actually hasn't won a defensive player of the year. I had to check myself there. He did make all-defensive first team, though, and has made back in, I think last year he made all defensive first team. And that's what I was confused with. So apologies, correction, no defensive player of the year. He did make all first team last year, but he's also made 4 all defensive second team. So really solid run. Obviously, he's been all defense basically in the last 5 years. Every single year he's on an all defensive either second team or first team. Again, one of the better defensive bigs in the league. And yeah, rebounds have been hard to come by for Mobley. I mean, shots. I mean, he's shooting the ball well. He's just not taking as many shots. So it's not like Adebayo is really shutting him down to 7 for 10, 8 for 13. Just not really taking a ton of attempts here against Adebayo, but he's playing a healthy amount of minutes too. I mean, 33 minutes, 34 minutes, 31 and a half minutes. So I just think Miami's defense, I think they're going obviously in other directions. The easier, better matchup would be to utilize Mitchell and Jerome and Garland if he does play. Miami on the perimeter, really terrible defensively. I think if you're Cleveland, utilizing Mobley offensively in this series when he's matched up with the likes of Adebayo and Kelly Ware, not as promising. So I do like the under. And again, there is a very good chance this game could be a blowout again. And if that's the case, they could rest Mobley, obviously. Cleveland now up 3-0 are obviously looking into the next round where they're going to have to play most likely Indiana, it's looking like right now. So I do think Mobley playing like 40 minutes, unless the game's really, really close, I think he's going to play somewhere around 30 minutes. And I would be shocked if they really go to him a lot in this game. So I like the under here, the under for Evan Mobley, under 26.5 points plus rebounds. By the way, guys, we just passed the 8-minute mark in today's video. So if you are still watching, comment 8 down below. As always, guys, we appreciate those who watch through each and every single video here on the channel. We put a lot of hard work, myself, Ev, and Trey, into each and every video. So if you are still watching all the way through, appreciate you. Thank you. Comment 8 down below. Our third player prop in today's slate, and a little apologies, guys. I am a little sick. That's why I haven't done a video since Friday. So my voice cracks here and there. I do apologize. To those watching, you guys know I have like one of the worst immune systems of all time. I'm sick literally like every 2 months. So it's not that surprising. Actually, we've been more than due for a little cold here. I think the last time I was sick was like February or January. So actually it was almost a career best stretch there. But our third player prop in today's slate, moving on to the Rockets-Warriors Game 4, 10 p.m. tip-off. We're going Steph Curry over 5.5 assists. Now, this is a plus money play. It's plus 100 on FanDuel. I don't know if I'll put a full unit on this. Might put a half, might put 3/4 of a unit. We'll see. It's a plus money play, but the data actually isn't that bad. 5 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 5.8 assists per game over his last 10. And if you go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view, again, pretty solid numbers. 59% hit rate, 44 out of 74 games this year. He's cashed the over, averaging 6.03 assists per game this year. So, and averaging 10.3 potential assists per game this year. Pretty good numbers for Steph Curry, honestly. And from a head-to-head perspective, 5 of his last 9 matchups with the Rockets, including this series, he's cashed the over, averaging 5.56 assists per game over their last 9 matchups. So again, pretty solid run here for Steph Curry. For a plus money play, now granted, it's only plus 100, not like it's plus 150. But for plus 100, the data is pretty solid across the board. Now, the big thing for me here is that the last 2 games in this series, he's had massive assist numbers, right? 9 assists in game 2, 9 assists in game 3. And you see the potential assists, 13 potential assists in game 2, 17 potential assists in game 3. I think a lot of that obviously has to do with the Jimmy Butler injury. It's forced Steph to kind of take a lot of the reins of this offense back. Because remember, when they made the Butler trade, one of the big things was that Curry no longer needed to be really the only ball handler, right? You can move it to Butler, and he can help set up some offense as well. With Butler being out, Curry, of course, has had to take back that kind of I'm the Superman role and kind of doing everything for this Warriors team. Now, Butler could play tonight. Right now, at the time of recording, he's listed as a game-time decision. We don't really know if he's going to play or not. But I'm assuming that if he, plays, he's going to be a little hindered. So I still think Steph cashing this line is a pretty good bet. But also, if Butler doesn't play, I think the numbers are also really good in Curry's favor. So for plus money, he's cashed in big ways the last 2 games. He's had 30 potential assists over the last 2 games combined. A lot of good numbers there. We just need him to get 6 assists. For plus money, I think it's a really solid play there. So again, play a full unit. I'm probably not going to play a full unit. I might do like 3/4 of a unit, maybe half a unit. I'll obviously post those final plays in the pinned comment. We also have the EV Plus stuff on our side here. But for plus 100 and you got Steph Curry in the playoffs, I think it's a pretty good player prop. However, my final player prop, to go ahead and contradict myself, and I feel disgusting taking this because I hate fading superstars, especially Steph Curry. He is one of the all-time greats. My final player prop in today's video, I'm going with the under on Steph Curry, under 27.5 points. So I like his assist line. I don't love his points line all that much. It's minus 120 over on FanDuel, but again, minus 118 BetMGM. Not a big difference in value, but a little bit more valuable to take the BetMGM line. Now, the last 10 games, not great, right? Just 4 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 26.8 points per game over his last 10 games. However, you look at the overall data this year, a 62% hit rate on this under. 46 out of 74 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 24.89 points per game this year. So yes, the recent data, specifically when he's playing more minutes and these kind of more high-intensity games, you're seeing Steph Curry cash the over more consistently. However, more than the majority of the year, like I said, 62% is a pretty good number for a season total. He's been cashing the under, so he's been cashing the under a heavy rate this year. And from a head-to-head perspective, 5 of his last 9 matchups with the Houston Rockets, he's cashed the under. It's a 56% hit rate, averaging 24.56 points per game against Houston across their last 9 matchups. Now, so far this series, 2 of the 3 games he's cashed the over. He had 31 points in Game 1, a massive 36-point showing in Game 3. However, in Game 2, he did have just 20 points in that one. I think this series is going to go 7 games. I think Houston's going to be feisty with them. I don't think they're going to go down without a fight. This is a young, feisty team. The Warriors have some injury stuff with Butler right now. They answered very strongly after a tough Game 2. They fired back with a big win in Game 3. But I think Houston on the road here in Game 4, with Game 5 going back home. You can't go back to Game 5 at home down 3-1. You go back 2-2 with the home court advantage in Game 5. Houston's in a pretty good spot. I think the Rockets need this one very badly. The Warriors are still a little battered. Curry, look, he's a little bit older. He spent a lot of minutes, a lot of extra responsibility with the Butler injury falling on his shoulders. And honestly, this Houston team is very solid defensively. This is a top 10 defensive team in the NBA. Now, granted, the defense versus point guards not been great this year from an overall perspective, but when you look at this offense here, I do think the Rockets, they have the bodies to throw at Curry to slow him down. Now, they haven't done it that greatly so far this series, but you do have Game 2 to go off of where he just didn't shoot the ball that well. They disrupted him a little bit. Again, risky, absolutely, but I do think the Rockets will bounce back here in Game 4, and in order for them to bounce back, they're going to need Curry to go a little bit less. Again, he could still have 26 points or even 27 points, which is a solid scoring performance, and cash this under. We're just hoping that he doesn't score more than 28 points or more, and again, super risky. Again, this is another one where I may not pull a full unit on this, but the data seems to suggest this is not a bad player prop. Again, 62% hit rate on the year, 56% hit rate from a head-to-head perspective. Across the board, pretty solid numbers here. Again, I know I'm going to get clowned in the comments for fading Steph Curry. I don't feel, like I said, I was like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? But I'm like, you know what? I like it. The data seems to point that it could be a good player prop. I'm going to go ahead and ride with it. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And no one's 100% right. No handicapper, no matter how hard they tell you they're the best, nobody has a 100% hit rate. So we're going to take the chance there with Steph Curry. We did take his over and assist, though, so we gave Chef Curry a little bit of love there. on one side. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. We'll be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Monday. Have a fantastic week. And let's go ahead and, of course, make a little money.